Hello, welcome back to Actual Play Court of Blades. We've made up our amazing retinue at Sarah's House Brutaglia, and we serve it on a haunted hill with a dead sorcerer that's not quite dead, that they can't get dead, um, and we're known for being arcane. I'm sure this is going to be great. Yeah, I'm very excited about this game. Sean, you want to open us up with what we do at the start?
Absolutely. So this is, imagine this as the last season before your world changed irrevocably. Before this, every now and then you would find yourself in the social circles in Ilrian that brushed up against power. This is the first time that anything was kind of laid to you to get involved, to actually like be a mover and shaker in this. Some of you have humble origins. Some of you are of less humble origins, but still not necessarily Ilrian nobility. I think that as we lay our scene here, we kind of start with this flyover shot of Ilrian on a kind of dark Inverno winter's night. We fly in over the harbor, over the kind of the tangle of the docks, down into the twist, following these narrow, swerving alleyways that are just full of all manner of dangers, and out through the Trader's Gate, the gate where mercenaries, where ne'er-do-wells, where people who perhaps are not necessarily welcome in Ilrian are forced to walk. And then out over the towering, ramshackle majesty of the Necropolitan Hill. The four of you were given to understand, given dead drops, really, left in your apartments where you keep yourself in the city of Ilrian, to be on the Necropolitan Hill, at the gates of the catacombs leading beneath the Dead Watchers' headquarters, because Hospitalia has gotten wind of something that the sixth house of Ilrian, House Casenio, plans to do on this moonless Inverno night. I think the four of you, we kind of are going to do a little bit of an open scene as basically the wind is kind of kicking between these old shattered headstones. Nobody's buried on the Necropolitan Hill anymore. It's far too out of fashion, unfashionable even now. I think that the earliest gravestone that you can see was 100 years ago. I think the four of you are under the impression that you're all going to be accomplishing this with, other Battalia assets. But as you kind of come to the yawning entrance down to this ancient necropolis, there's nobody here. There are no pikemen. There's no no fighters. There's nobody here to back you up except these other three. All women that are going to kind of come together here. Who, as we're getting this shot where the rain just starts to patter down out in front of this catacomb, who is the first one to arrive?
I'll take that hill.
Yeah, Sakara, you're the first one to arrive.
I had to scope the place out before anyone else arrives.
Okay, that makes sense. So I think that we get this shot of this Mauer woman who's approaching in out of the very first kind of kiss of rain on this dreary Inverno night. I think that you're there just in time to kind of catch the final words of somebody retreating down this catacomb. You hear footsteps kind of echoing back out of the catacomb. Otherwise, this place, aside from yourself and one lonesome-looking raven, it seems to be deserted. What do you do?
I think the first thing I'm trying to figure out is what I'm doing here alone. So, I'm going to kind of skirt around and try and eavesdrop on them as best I can. I think that...
Oh no, you cut out.
Oops. So I'm going to kind of try and assess the situation because there's no backup, and I don't really know what's going on yet.
It sucks to be a disposable
And
asset.
it's like,
doesn't
here, go here and figure it out.
it? Something really bad is going to happen on the Necropolitan Hill, and that in no way, shape, or form is to be allowed to happen.
Mhm.
I think that you got a dossier.
That's wide open, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically you got a dossier. I'm sort of being thrifty with the information here. I think the dossier says that that there is a rogue Castaño Knack who is planning to pull just a little bit of the Deathless's own power to fuel a ritual that by no means should be allowed to occur.
Ooh.
And so that's what you know is happening. But you expected like a task force, and it's right now. Well, now it's you, and I think I need one other character to come in at this moment. Who's feeling brave?
Sure. I'm
Yeah?
ready to saunter in. Yeah.
Okay, Core.
Cora is walking up the hill. She has like a knapsack of like books that she had been reading before this, and like they're hung over the blade. They're hung over the scabbard of her blade, which is just like resting on her shoulder. And she's like just come from someplace, and she's dropping blueberries in her mouth, and she's expecting like, this has totally got to be a prank. This is definitely just her friend in House Berteglia, who I need to pull up his name. This is definitely Blair trying to like invite her out on another like, ooh, we'll go into the spooky night, and so she's kind of like had enough of it, and she's ready to be like, what do you need now, Blair? You know, as whatever she was told, she thinks is a lie. She thinks it was just like some elaborate story to get her to come out here.
Yeah, so
like,
Blair's always pulling
she
this
like
kind of
stops. Oh yeah, he's always like, oh, I need to do important house business, and she gets there and he's like, hey, you know, and so he's just she's just very you. Yeah, the important house business is like, shouldn't we have lunch? So she's totally just come from her studies and is not really well prepared, and has her blade because she always does, but is not like kitted out. And when she sees the shadowy figure, she's certain it's Blair, and when it turns out that it's not, you know, she sort of when it turns out it's Sakara, she's a little startled and thinks like, you know, like still isn't completely dispelled the notion that this is some chicanery.
Sure,
but
absolutely. And why wouldn't it be? Sakara, what are you carrying a lot right now? Are you discreet in your load, or are you loaded?
No, I think that rumor came discreetly. Like she's got some stuff on her, not enough to be loaded, so she is discreet. I think that the mindset here is that I may need to run very quickly. I think that's always her mindset. So in the event that I need to run very quickly, I don't want to be bogged down.
Sure. Okay, interesting. So I think that as Cora is walking up, that's as the footsteps are retreating down this corridor. You're standing out in the front at the foot of this creepy falling down mausoleum. Up there, you can see that the lights of the watch house, the house that the Dead Watchers keep, just as sort of an outpost, is strangely dark, strangely quiet. I think that right now there's this feeling of just terrible aloneness that's just you and Core at the mouth of this creepy alley. What do you guys know each other? Have you met before? Have your paths crossed over, hospitality business?
I feel like I've been here for several years trying to work my way up. What do you, I think we certainly might have. What do you think, Navi? Do you think we?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I don't think that I don't think Rumor's been here that long. I think that she's probably been here just a few. I think she's new kid on the block, quite frankly. So she's only been here a few months, and she's still trying to feel everyone out. But as soon as she sees Core like coming her way, there's definitely a feeling of relief. Like, oh, they didn't send me out here to die.
Yeah. Core cackles when she sees you. She's like, oh my God, Blair found another one. Like she's like, because you're the new kid, she just assumes that Blair like suckered you into this, and she just like laughs, and she's like, let me guess, important mission, dangerous rituals must be stopped, all of Hospitalia. will be in peril if you and I can't perform some daring act of heroism. And she gets like right in your face as she says it. Like, it's very like over the top melodramatic, but you can totally tell she doesn't believe any of it. It's just like, it's just what she thinks is going on right now.
Oh my God, I think that Rumor hears all that, and like now she doesn't know what to think. Like she thought she was on like this super serious job. She was finally being trusted with something. And like, you know, there's whispers and footsteps going on, and like she's trying to listen in. And now they're like, and now of course you're like, this is such a joke. And now she's like, is it?
And she just reaches out to you. She's like, Blueberry, they're in season, you know, like she just refuses to take any of this seriously. She's sure that Blair has like told the Death Keepers to turn out the light, so we'll have to go in there and turn it on, and he'll be inside, and you know, she's just Anyway, sorry, she's totally not believing anything. Yeah.
My question here is, Mistress Wolf, you're a hawk. You worked as a Mercy before. I think that that you probably came and prepared the ground here. Like you got the information. You knew that there was something going down. Where are you hiding right now?
Yeah, I feel like I've been there the whole time.
Don't doubt that.
Yeah, so I think that she just steps out of a shadow. So it's probably not clear exactly if she was hiding behind something or if she was just standing there and no one happened to notice her. But I think that she steps out, and I think she, being the opposite of all the silliness, which is great, by the way, Sean, she's very serious about it. She thinks this is clearly a very serious mission, and we should be paying attention to what we have to do next.
And now I'm absolutely stuck between the two of them with like blueberries in my face. Like I'm not eating blueberries like so.
So here's my secondary question, because it is a loaded one. I think that you know the rogue arcanist that we're dealing with, the rogue Knack that is a House Castaño asset. I think you know something about this person, and I think you saw them come through here not terribly long ago, but it wasn't a thing that like you could stop. Why not?
Why couldn't I stop it?
Why couldn't you just like take the arc? It's a squishy Knack, right? Like this isn't somebody who could stand up to you. What was the situation that made you want to bide your time?
I think that I thought maybe they had some information. There was something that I overheard, and I thought that if we could just bide our time and maybe listen longer or even speak with them before taking them out, that we could possibly learn something that would help our house.
So you're playing the long game here. Like this, you got the dead drop that said, hey, there's a thing that's going to go on tonight and you have to stop it. Otherwise we may be feeling the effects for seasons, maybe years, maybe generations. And you're like, well, there's probably something in this for the house.
Hold on now.
Right? Exactly. Let's play this smart.
Right.
Is that something that you would share with these people?
I might share it with Jammy's character, maybe, but not the other two yet, I don't think.
Interesting.
It's because I'm feeding the raven right now.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So Malika, that's you. Have you been here a while as well? Have you been waiting, laying in wait, or are you arriving now? Because I have a follow-up question for either of these.
Yeah, I think I also melt out of the shadows. I think that with Lenore, we've worked together closely before. Like we know how the other one works, and so I'm very worried about what's going on. But you see me step out of the shadows. I'm wearing like a purple cowl. My black hair is coming through. I have dark skin. My skirt melts into leathers. But I go up behind Lenore and I say, well, Core, as usual, we can't have you take anything seriously.
And Cora just sort of like looks at you and says, I see. This is not just a simple this is not just as simple as a chance meeting. This is a whole festival. What do you think we'll find when we walk in there? And she sort of gestures to the Death Keeper's house, the Death Keeper's hut that is unlit. Do you think it will be some horrific ghoul, some demonic summoning, or do you think it's the Dread Sorcerer himself come to life?
And I turn to Lenore and I say, please remind me why we didn't throw her into a ritual last time and just be done with her. Is she really useful?
Ash is
She-
coming out swinging.
She may
She sort
yet
of, like,
prove herself
brushes-
useful.
She sort of like brushes the rainwater off of her like lustrous, sharp bone, beautiful shoulder, and she's like, we all. She sort of starts walking towards the thing. She's like, we all know I'm too pretty to die, and with like a swing, her blade comes out, and the knapsack lands perfectly in a little thing with like the scabbard like leaning against the headstone. It's like it was like delicately placed there, but it was just like a perfect blade, and she like is sauntering towards the thing with her blade
How
out.
many times has Core practiced that maneuver?
Oh,
That's
like 1,000.
man, that looking glass has seen that a lot.
Hmm.
Malika, here's my follow-up question, Lady of Ashes. You've been standing here waiting for the coterie to kind of gather here. I think that this is where we get to ask you a little bit about how knackery works. When somebody is under the influence of a weave, of an invocation, a channeling of magical power, what sign do they give off, and why was the Arcanist, the Knack who went down into the catacombs, wrong somehow?
When magic starts to come alive in an area, there's a strange sense of foreboding that just prickles at the back of the neck, and those who are more sensitive can feel it and know that it's magic. When the magic is too strong, it starts to feel like the stomach is bottoming out, that the body wants to recoil and run in the opposite direction. And what's wrong with this Knack is I know that they haven't even begun to gather their power, but it just feels awful around them. Like there's this horrible sense. But I know that not everyone can feel it, possibly just, I know for sure Core can't feel anything. So
no.
it's just Lenore and her
That's
heightened
because Core is
senses.
impervious. Yeah.
Okay.
As a minor note, if anyone looked, the little bowl that had the blueberries, she sliced one when she threw all of this stuff in the air. She sliced one of the blueberries in half, and it lands in the bowl. Slid down because I'm being that fucking over the top.
Hey, this is the game for that.
That's panache.
That's panache, right? Okay, so Core, it sounds like you're heading toward the watch house. You're heading toward.
Oh yeah, I'm
Dead
gonna go
Walker.
in there and kick the door open and surprise Blair with and like, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so I don't think there's anything that we stand to lose by bringing dice into this. So I think that we are treated to a shot of Core being Core and kicking this door inward and like, I have arrived. But it's an empty room. The open kind of lodge in the middle of this, like there are a couple of back rooms that look like they might lead to like a sleeping space or a bunkhouse or something like that. But there's nobody in here. There's supposed to be somebody always. You know this.
Yeah.
At any time with the Dead Watchers, there's always supposed to be somebody who's watching the barrow, and there's not right now.
Yeah.
I think that there's a banked fire, just nothing but coals, just kind of down in the bottom of the fireplace off on one side. It's a fairly temperate night. There's no reason for a fire or anything. That's not odd, but who is here, right? Banking the fire if there's no one here now.
Of course, sort of looks to the three of you to explain what's up with this like very bad joke, because she understands just as well as anybody the significance of not having a barrel watcher here. Like this is really pushing it really far, and she's like, "Are one of you behind this? You should know it's bad form. Barrel watcher should always be here." And she starts getting a little bit more serious, not because she doesn't think it's a joke, but because she's now offended by the joke. She's now like upset that Blair would go this far. And she sort of looks to you to like see if any of you know what happened to the barrel watcher.
At this
I think-
point, Sakar is in the back, and she's just like she was making like wardings, like she's very superstitious. So as soon as somebody said they were trying to, even as a joke, wake the dead watchers, she's over there making wards, and then we go in, and the person's missing, and now she's informed that there's a knack in here, and so she started singing the lullaby that they sing to the dead watchers. So on rainy nights in the twist, they'll sing to the dead watcher to try and lull him back to sleep. It's kind of a superstition from the poor side of town. So now she's kind of under her breath, kind of singing the lullaby to try and sing him back to sleep.
That's cool.
Well, I love that.
Is it very clear that she's scared? Like, is her voice faltering, or is it?
I think it's like it's nerves, because there's a lot wrapped up in that particular superstition. Like, it's something that the further down the social ladder you get, the more they believe it. So when you're from the poorest part of town in particular, this is something that is very real to her. So she's.
Mhm.
It is definitely like this. What we're doing is not okay. This is not a joke anymore.
Okay, so this is the point where I'm going to have you guys roll an engagement roll, because this is where it's about to start getting dicey.
Mhm.
I think this is where we kind of are going to be cutting to the action. So I think, knowing what we know, we are arcane, right? We know that we are serving Hospitalia.
Mhm.
We are in good with the Dead Watchers. Where they are, we don't know yet. I think right now that we have 2 dice, because we have very tenuous information on what we're supposed to do here. We are kind of in our realm here, as this might be force, right? This might be an assault here. If we're thinking about kind of going down and investigating, it could turn dicey very quickly. I could hear an argument for a 3rd, because we are arcane. If you guys want to push for that, what do you guys think?
That seems very sensible to me. I mean, we see everyone besides Core, I think, paying a lot of attention to the arcane forebodingness of this, and it seems like making precautions accordingly.
I'd say so. Okay, who wants to make me a 3 dice fortune roll?
I think Core should make it, because she's the one who just stepped in,
Yeah,
slammed the
just-
door open.
Just burst into the room.
Blame.
Sounds good.
Never
sounds
like
good.
making the fortune rolls.
Yeah, I'm happy to make that fortune roll. There's no bad fortune rolls. All right. Breaking in the door. There we go. Risky
All right.
The
standard.
mini crit.
So yeah, the poor man's crit, right?
Yeah.
I think what happens here is that the floor underneath you guys gives a terrible lurch, almost as if something has kind of shifted beneath you. The floor underneath your feet gives a horrifying crack, and then all of a sudden you're falling. It's not far. It's not painful or deadly yet. But the floor does give way underneath each of you in succession. So first Core goes through. And then there's a moment where everybody's like, oh no, Core. And then the floor gives way under each of you. There's just a perfectly U-sized hole in the floor that rockets you kind of down into this barrow beneath. When you guys sort of get up to your feet, I imagine dusting yourself off, you're in darkness. There's a damp smell in the air, and there's sort of an ominous, hushed, whispered voice kind of carrying through on the catacombs. And it sounds apologetic. It's like, I know. It'll be done soon. Just hold to your nerve, and then it'll be done. Just do it. And then there's something that's kind of a little bit harder to make out. I mean, you can tell that there's another side to this conversation, but this is the only one that you're getting. What do you guys do?
First, I step forward and I ask Sakara, because I know Sakara's new, to insist that. I'm sorry, what is Sakara's pronouns?
She and her.
So I'm just going to make sure that she's behind me And I'll say quietly, Sakara, stay behind me. Just be careful. And I turn towards Core, like,
Yeah, Cora is putting her hand on Lorraine's shoulder and saying, I think he should probably stop doing it now. Like whatever, he's like, just do it. And like as he says, just do it, she's like, I don't think you should do it. She's sort of just giving her running commentary on how whatever is happening that we're overhearing, it sounds like it's a bad plan. Jamie, I think Core is I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember everyone's names and I'm being very bad.
no worries. It's a first game, no problem.
Yeah, I just there we go.
We'll hardly know each other yet.
Yeah. Is Malika the correct pronunciation?
Yeah, that's correct.
So she looks at you, Malika, and I think we know each other as well. And she kind of like straightens her spine. She straightens up a little bit. Like if you think something is off here, then she respects that. She didn't. She figures Sakara was just being set up like she was. But when you're like, watch out. Lorraine, I think, can feel her like tense a little bit, like as she squeezes your shoulder, like and sort of straightens. And just the tiny bit of light that's coming from the holes above, you can see like her blade is now in front of her. Like there's a little glint off of it in the light.
Now, is that your blade for a pro or your blade for show?
Oh, this is totally blade for show because
Blade for show? This is your courtly fencing weapon, right?
My courtly fencing weapon, absolutely.
Excellent.
I wasn't expecting a real anything here. This was
No, you were expected to defend somebody's honor and not to have to fight for your life.
This was literally the blade that was holding up my knapsack, right? Like it's while I'm out studying and being courtly, you read books on the lawn, you have your fencing blade there. It's like,
just in case somebody wants to step, whole big thing. Academic debate can get contentious. That's fine.
yes.
All right. So I think that this is kind of the conflicts of a whole bunch of kind of winding tunnels. I think that that you're getting just a little bit of these snatches of conversation, but they're starting to take on almost a rhythmic cadence. It's like whoever it is that was trying to make their point, try and get the other person to begin the work. They finally won them over enough to where now there is a sort of pulsing, droning, chanting cadence to the whispers that are kind of coming down one of these tunnels. Now you know that these tunnels eventually, most of them lead to the surface, right? Because this is kind of almost a honeycombed barrow that has the city's dead interred within it. But you also know that the one that this chanting is coming from does not lead to the surface. It leads interminably downward. Now I need to know, does your courage hold? Are you guys going to walk down this corridor and see what this is all about?
Yeah. I think Lenore asks as soon as she realizes that there is almost like a rhythmic chanting happening, asks or makes eye contact with Malika. And since we've worked together before, it's kind of okay, what's next? Because I think Lenore doesn't yet smell monsters, sense monsters. And so this is probably more Malika's realm currently, and she's signaling that she will follow suit.
Excellent.
And I think Malika will say under her breath, let us see what foolishness these are up to. And I'm going to try to study, try to figure out what's going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this is a perfect time for the first action roll of the night.
Yeah.
If Renac wants to study what is going on here, because this is basically your wheelhouse, right? Like, you know what from rituals and magic and things like that. I think this is a risky standard. Study roll.
Jamie, does your studying look like you're just listening to what's happening, or are you going down and like peering around the corner to see what's going on? If it's a physical act, Cora will be right there with you. She'll be like
if you're willing to go forward and like scope this out to get the study, I'll give you greater, and you'll still have, but you'll have different complications.
Sure. I'll do that. Like, I'll see that Core is itching to move forward, and I will unwisely start to move forward so that,
Nice.
because you do look very good in that armor, no matter what
Yeah.
I say.
I mean, her arms are bare. They're glistening from the
course.
rain.
Yeah, 100%. And I think also what I'm doing is I'm leaning in close, but I have a familiar spirit that can speak to me, and I'm like, but it's only whispers that come in, so I'm trying to get closer so my spirit can hear better what's going on. Okay, so I'm gonna roll with study.
Do you want, before you roll, would
Ooh.
you like to treat this as a group action where we're both studying and we're both, you get more, it'll be more dice, but it's one of us who leads it will, or would you like me to do an assist? I'm happy to do either way.
This is cool because if you do it as a group action, you get, higher chance of doing the thing, but everyone's open to consequences at that point.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I want.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't want Sakara to get in trouble. So.
It can be a group action, just the two of us. It's fine.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Rumor
Okay.
has formed herself into Malika's shadow at this point. So as soon as she's get behind me, she's you ain't gotta tell me twice. So she's right there.
Rumors move in Lady of Ash's shadow.
Yeah. Cool. Do you want to lead this action, Jamie?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I will help you study then.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to remember if it's a wait, I'm looking at risky, right? It's still risky.
Mm-hmm.
Greater effect.
Greater effect. And then how many die do I add because of the group action, or is it still just we both roll?
It's just your die and then also Core's die. So you're going to roll and then Core will be rolling as well.
All right, here we go. Oh my God, please roll well. That's all I'm going to say.
See what I can do. Oh my goodness, what happened?
Abby was right.
You used all the sixes.
Sean used all the sixes.
Apparently.
So that
I'm like, well, hold on a second. I feel like it didn't roll D6s. It rolled a D1 and a D2. Let me just double check. Let me just, but maybe that is, I'm just going to make we're not going to count this, but I'm going to make one more roll just because I kind of want to see if it's doing.
Okay.
Nope, never mind.
Oh, 4, 5. Okay.
Okay. That would have been much better.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So big fails.
I think what happens here is I don't think the consequence of the failure is that you don't get any information. I think that you guys creep up to the edge of the catacomb just before it starts to balloon out into the next chamber. You guys were led to believe that this was the Deathless's resting place, but this doesn't look like a big crypt that is proper for the charm-bound barrow of an ancient war mage. This is not nearly so ostentatious. It's basically two people kind of kneeling in front of a stone door that is fairly unassuming, but it looks like it's been almost welded in place, right? Like there's a thick line of brass and silver inlay that goes all around the outside of this doorway. I think that the consequence of this failure is that these people managed to complete whatever ritual it was that they were doing, and the door explodes outward. Good news is that you don't have to worry about the Arcanists anymore. They've been shredded. Bad news is that a lot of that shrapnel comes out your way as well. And also, we're going to be in a desperate position here because there are things crawling out of this door, but they're not crawling out on the floor. They're coming around the walls. One of them is curling its way up out of the vault over what would be like the ceiling of its chamber. And there's not really a whole lot of time to really get a whole lot of details before that shrapnel starts hitting you. Both of you are going to take level 2 harm, and it's going to be bruised and bludgeoned as you kind of take these small chunks of masonry that fly through the air like razors.
Sure. Can I resist the consequence?
You absolutely can. Yes, that's what stress is for. I think that since this is study, that mind would be an appropriate resistance roll. But I could also see you just being unnaturally hardy. So if you're rolling body, you can tell me about that. Otherwise, how are you prepared for this?
Yeah, I was actually thinking because it feels like it's very physical what's coming at us. So I'd like to try to use body.
Sounds good.
But yeah, so let's see. Oh, now I
Oh.
now
There's
I
your
rolled a 6.
That's a speed.
There you go.
All right.
And I'm going to do the same. I think Cora is inclined to leap back, you know, when she sees this this strappo coming. So I will also resist with body.
Okay, go ahead.
Cool. And
Nice. We did really well with the resistance.
yes.
It's like
All right. So instead of being laid open by shrapnel, you managed to pull yourself around the corner just in time as it falls like the angriest hailstorm ever. But we do.
Can I take this opportunity, like while we're like on the edge, I'm screaming at Cora, "Are you taking this seriously now?"
The funny thing was Cora was right about to say, like, don't they see the do not disturb sign on that door? Right? Like Cora was literally up until that moment just being like, can't they see the ancient seals? Like, do nobody in Illyria know how to read? What is wrong? Right? So she was still like kind of joking about it, but then like as they're crashing, she's like, I guess, ow, smash. Yeah.
Oh, it's suddenly very real. Okay. So I think that that the stakes have kind of been raised. We're currently moving into a desperate situation because these grave things are crawling out of the hole here, and they smell you, and it seems like they're going to be coming after you real quick. Like there's a moment of almost like a chattering unlanguage between them, and then there's the sound of feet coming around that corner. What do you guys do?
I give that look at Lenore, like, now it is your turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I think that the only reason Lenore stayed back was since Malika was going to take lead on this. If something like this were to happen, then Lenore can come in. So can I attack one of them? Is that skirm? What is that?
It could be. Yeah, it could absolutely be skirmish. So if you're advancing with a weapon, getting in close and holding the line here, buying your allies time, that feels like a skirmish. But you tell me, is it skirmish? Is it hunt? What does this feel like to you?
To me,
Waiting
hunt.
for them?
I could be wrong, but to me, hunt feels more methodical and planned and slow, whereas this feels very like reactionary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Run in there and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Paint me a beautiful word picture as Lenore approaches for battle. What do we see on camera?
So Lenore wears like a fitted like French coat, and it has a high collar, and tucked into her shirt, which kind of looks like a scarf, it's actually a mask. And so as soon as we dropped down, she pulled her mask up, so you can just see her eyes, and her eyes actually have like a hint of red, almost depending on when the light hits them. So I think that we see her pull a blade out, and her eyes kind of gleam red, and then she just charges in.
Excellent. And sword, like what kind of weapon does Lenore carry?
So if it's okay, because I don't know exactly how weapons work, I'd really like her to have two.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm just wondering what kind of engagement we're running here. So on your character sheet, you've got a blade or two. If you have a fine weapon or anything like that, you can engage with that as well.
Okay.
What's in her hands as she's approaching is just how we're going to define the fiction here.
Okay.
This is a desperate situation. There are three of them. They are not people.
Right.
You are a mercy. You are a hawk as well. So I think that because you are outmassed here, that makes this a desperate, limited situation. You might be able to hold them off, deal some damage, but you're not putting them down all by your onesie in one fell swoop.
I want to sneak in with an assist here.
How?
All right. So I think that at this point, Rumor realizes it. Oh, I'm a valuable member of this team, and I can function here. Hold on. So she's going to pull out a pouch. I'm going to use my foresight ability here. So she's going to pull out a pouch, a leather pouch, and inside of it, it has like something very strange. Like it has a strange smell. It's filled with ash and whatnot. But she's going to toss it to you and tell you to coat your weapon. She was
Okay.
prepared for something terrible to come out of the crypts.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice. And Cora is not. I just realized that Cora and Lenore have very similar sounds to their names. Is that okay with you, Crystal? Cora is definitely not about to let someone run into a fray without her blade at your side. Are you okay with her joining you in this fracas?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We
Okay.
can make that a group action then if we want to skirmish. And then you guys are more on par as far as scale. So that's always good too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does that work as far as
So
rolling?
if you lead a group action, you roll your dice as normal. Anybody else who is doing the action along with you, all your dice count. So it's almost like you have more chances to get that 6, which means that I can't make harder moves against you.
Okay.
But anybody that is in the group action with you that doesn't make a 4, 5, or 6, you take 1 stress for their failure.
Okay.
Okay. So I think this is, with scale like this, desperate standard. I think with the boost here, with the foresight assist, you'll get
Love it.
an additional die.
Okay.
And then Core is going to be helping you out. So both of you will roll your skirmish, right?
Mhm. I'd like to leverage for desperate great, and the reason why is because I'm going to be pushing for my unstoppable ability. I have this dinky little blade, and I'm like, this will do nothing against these creatures. And Core is showing off some of her incredible, nice superhuman strength that she's gonna just try and literally like throw these creatures back into the hole and like crash a rock onto one of their head. Like she has this dainty little weapon, and she just is not about it. She's gonna be crushing heads, so she can fight as a group, and I think we will therefore outnumber them. But if
effectively, you guys are going to be way hardier than these things crawling out of this hole. I love that. So desperate great will be the position in effect. Let me see those rolls, and we'll see how good this goes.
Am I rolling 2d6 then?
Yeah.
If you just click on your skirmish, it should bring up a put it down desperate and then great,
and then add an extra die.
and then you've got 1 bonus die.
Yep.
The sheets are nifty.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool,
Jacob,
right? Yeah.
What?
Jacob made these sheets, and they're fantastic.
All
No
right.
failures.
Excellent. So you guys don't take any additional stress. You guys are going to get slightly less effect. It's not going to be great effect here, but just because of the partial success, and it does open you up for a further consequence. And the further consequence, as you are throwing these things back into the kind of hole in the wall here, this old decrepit vault, like you can tell that there's so many of them in there. You can you catch a flash as like lightning rumbles through or thunder rumbles through the sky, and there's just like a momentary flash of light through one of like the cracks above you in the barrow, and it illuminates that the walls inside are crawling with these things, and the door has exploded. So that's the complication. I'm just pouring a whole bunch of these things into that hole. What do you guys do about that? Because you're holding the line for now. You're not in immediate danger. They are massing for a counterattack. What's going on here? What's our plan?
Jamie, is it well known that you are a fan of causing explosions?
Oh yes,
and
I have my
things,
red.
I don't know, like just like collapsing caves or something like that. We're underground right now, and the door is broken, but there is a whole ceiling above us that could also serve as a door. And I don't know, is this a thing that you're known for?
Yeah, absolutely. I was like thinking, can I combine the idea of a curse? Like I'm trying to curse the the foundation
Ooh.
for it to crumble faster.
Now you've got all kinds of cool tags you can add to your curse. Like you can tell me it affects objects. I know is one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got all kinds of stuff that you can play with as long as you're willing to pay stress for it. Right?
Mhm.
Absolutely, I'll do it. Yeah. Yes, I think Malika steps forward and they start to speak in a strange tongue, but once in a while the words start to make sense until it comes out, "May the stone above us crumble like the ashes that await us all." And I'm going to, let's see how it goes. So I'm going to take 2 stress to get an extra die first, I think.
Sounds good.
And then 1 stress to make sure it can affect an object. Let's see. Okay, I think that's enough. So I'll get to roll with 2.
Okay. I think that being in the room where this might happen, this feels like this might feel desperate. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think with the amount of rock and stone that might come down, like it could be bad. I think that you've got standard effect though, because I think that you guys have already fallen through the barrel before. It's not a hugely stable thing right now, especially with people dabbling with things that they're not supposed to. So desperate standard. This is channel, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's see. Boo, boo, boo. Desperate, standard, and then 1 extra die. Okay. How did it go?
Oh no! I'm sorry.
Are you serious? The
Okay.
highest is a 3.
Oh no!
So I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that was a beautiful curse. It was textbook, exactly as who taught you how to weave? Who taught you how to channel?
I stole my mother's grimoire and I learned from it. Yeah.
So just as it was set down in your mother's grimoire, the syllables pour off your tongue in liquid pools. And I think that there's a moment where there's that kind of satisfying click of everything sort of fitting in. The weave shudders under the weight of your will. And there are these spiderweb vein cracks that begin shooting through the stone above you. The first piece falls and it falls behind you. The rest of it's coming down on top of you. I think you've got a moment to, spit defiance or try and tell me how you've planned for this, but I think this is level 4 harm because the mountain's coming down on you.
But I do get a +2 dice to resist the effects.
Bam.
Yeah,
Nice.
based on my invocation. So I'm gonna need it.
So this is a spirit resist, is it not?
Yes, that is correct.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll me a
And
spirit resist. We'll see
then
how
I'm
this
gonna
goes.
add 2 dice. Let's see how it goes. Highest is a 4.
How do you recover?
Yeah, I think what happens is you see Malika standing there, and then there's this sense of someone pulling her, an invisible force, and it's her spirit familiar just like dragging her. And for a moment, Malika looks like she phases through the rock before she lands hard against the wall.
So it's imperfect. It's imperfect as far as how the phasing goes, because I think that as you come through, your left leg, as you're phasing through the rock, becomes substantial at exactly the wrong time, and you feel your tibia break. So go ahead and take level 3 harm, broken leg, unless you
Got it.
spend some special armor and make that level 2.
I would like to spend some special armor,
Okay.
if that's okay with you, Jamie.
Oh yeah, please save me, my hero.
Yes, yeah, because I think Core is watching this very like Indiana Jones moment as you're doing this curse and like the ceiling is cracking. Core is looking all around and the ceiling comes down. You kind of had your eyes on her, but she sort of had her eyes on you too. And when she sees that, like you're obviously like doing this important ritual, and you can't, I think. So she leaps forward. My special armor is resist a complication for you or your coterie related to physical obstacles. This isn't quite an obstacle, but it definitely feels like it's in the category of physical.
It was something
challenges.
that Malika had to navigate. It feels like an obstacle.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna spend my special armor. And Jamie, how would you like this? Do you like being snatched, grabbed up, or do you like being offered a hand and leaping, or do you like catching a boulder but before it lands on your leg and then giving you a
I like
chance
the
to?
idea of bringing in a little thirsty sword lesbians, like you snatch me like a little too
Yeah,
close.
if that's okay. I didn't want to like take away your agency and like, but
Oh
like,
no,
yeah,
no, this is fine. Take it. It's okay.
I think, yeah. Court drops the whatever she was holding on to and snatches you up to pull
Okay.
you away.
I think we've bought ourselves a little bit of breathing room, but all the evidence of malfeasance is currently being, buried under rocks. The creatures, the things in the pit below, look as though they're going to have a hard time making their way out, because most of the rubble has fallen in such a way that the door is very well blocked. But you guys only have a couple of minutes left in here before it all comes down. Is there anything you want to do? Anything you want to investigate before we go, or are we beating feet out of here?
I think I would be looking towards Rumor. You're the one who you're new, but also you're the one who's prepared. You're the one who was ready you were the one who was clearly the most ready for this fight, even though you seemed the least ready, because you had this special powder to coat the blade. So obviously you actually knew exactly what was going to happen. So Cora has a whole different appraisal of you. Like, oh, I see, playing like you didn't know what was going on. Aha, that's how you're teasing me. And so yeah, she looks to you like, what's next?
Don't think I won't have questions about that powder later. It's just I don't have time to investigate all the things that I think are cool.
No, so so the roof is currently coming down. The two people who were doing the ritual got deaded by the ritual, right? How are the things in the room being contained by the falling rubble?
Currently, the rubble's coming down mostly in front of the door, except for the parts that are about to come down on your head. It looks like they are trying to scrabble their way through while they still have a chance to come through. So that is still a risk that, if there's a bad roll here, we might have a couple more of them scree on through.
Okay. I think my game plan here is that I'm going to try to maneuver through the falling rubble, because the only thing that in my mind that we can take from this is who in the hell was stupid enough to come down here and try and wake these things up. So she wants to get to the fallen bodies and basically give them the shakedown and try and find identification.
Okay. So what do you think that this is? Under pressure, it's the maneuver, right? Okay. I think right now it still feels desperate. What do you think?
It does.
Yeah.
And can I make it even worse?
Yeah.
I want a lady's favor.
You want a lady's favor? I think the lady's favor here is that you get to find out exactly why this knack felt wrong.
Oh, this is gonna suck. I'm taking it.
Take an extra die.
Okay. All right, here we go. I forgot to mention, for every desperate roll that you guys do, you get to mark off a point of XP in that track above it. So like if
body, mind, or spirit.
So that's how you can get some more points and whatnot, because I know that Christians get to Forge in the Dark. So make sure anytime you roll desperate, you get, whether it's success or fail, make sure you get the XP.
Yeah. Cool. And the XP tracks are the little like dagger blades at the top of them. You have to tap for each of them.
Cool.
Okay.
No,
so
it hurts a little.
I have good news and I have bad news. This is basically my catchphrase. I apologize for nothing. So good news and bad news. You do get to the body, right? And as you kind of roll it over, you see that the clothes are of a fine cut, well made, slightly damaged, worn in just a little bit, but the thing that immediately arrests your attention, aside from the cut and styling of this ragged patchwork that this person is now wearing. They're holding a grimoire kind of clutched to their chest, and it looks as though it's got little bits of shrapnel that tried to make its way through, but just stopped dead in the cover. And its eyes shoot open. The corpse's eyes shoot open, and it reaches out.
Wait, it's a corpse and it opens its eyes?
Yes.
Oh.
It reaches out and puts a hand around your throat. What's everybody doing?
So good. Kristen, this is a monster now. What are you going to save us from this monster?
Before the roof falls in?
Before the roof falls in? Would I recognize, can I roll something to see if I recognize what kind of monster it is?
You could do all manner of things here. So there's a flashback mechanic where we could say that you've been studying up on this thing. There's just a real quick and dirty study because you've got a moment to see what this thing might be, although the information might be imperfect.
Okay.
There's all manner of things.
Okay.
I could see surveying here. It's all...
I'll try. Basically what I want to do is I want to just look at it real quick to see if I recognize it and therefore recognize any of its weaknesses.
Okay. So I think what you're doing is you're sizing up an opponent here, which I think is more of a survey. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're still in desperate?
I think if you're not actively crossing the space right now, you are in kind of away from where the rocks are falling. I think that right now we're risky for you.
Okay. And then how do I know the effect?
We talk about that. I think that that you have, with your background as a mercy, I think that if you roll well here, then you'll get the information that you're looking for. You can ask me what this is, and I'll tell you honestly. That's standard effect in my book.
Okay. And no bonus dice, right?
Not currently, unless you'd like a devil's bargain or a lady's favor, rather.
No.
No.
Oh no, but they're
I'd
not.
like to offer an assist in that we were fighting sort of side by side earlier, and I think that we're and this may like not even. Do you have any sort of do you have a light source that you would carry with you by any chance? Is that something you would normally have?
We've got a lantern. You could totally have a lantern.
Yeah.
Do you think that you would have a lantern? It feels like you, having taken this seriously, would carry a lantern because it's dark, right?
Yeah.
So if it's cool with you, I'm take your lantern and light the wick quickly and hold it out so you can get a better view of what's going on here.
I like that. Okay.
If that's, I know I definitely didn't carry a lantern because I didn't actually believe that there was actually anything happening. So
I'd have a load for the blueberries.
Yeah, exactly.
We're adding
the blueberries were my important.
We're
and my books.
Adding it. We're adding it to the crew sheet right now.
Thankfully my books I left on the surface. Yeah, so that I'm going to spend one stress as I furiously try and pull it off the side of your accoutrement and light it up and give you a better view. So you get a bonus die.
Thank you.
Yeah.
With that assist, you got a bonus die though. So go ahead and roll another d6. And see if it's not a 1.
That's the bonus die.
Yeah, because there were no dice.
Yeah, there was no die. Yeah, that is. I did 1.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I have good news. You don't die.
Okay.
The bad news is that you get to ask me a question. I'll give you partial information. If you want, you can look down at the bottom of your sheet. There are some gather information questions here. I think you get one of those in your immediate moment, right?
Oh, gather information. How can I stop them?
How can I stop them? You have had good effects as a mercy with, all manner of holy objects, good luck charms and things like that can be used to drive them away. The lady's kiss is an object that graces carry typically. Things like that. Those are usually proof against evil spirits and all kinds of things like that. You've also had really good effects with cutting them into small enough pieces where they can't move
I
You have a
don't.
good luck charm on your playbook if you want to that.
You just have to tell me what your good luck charm is.
Yeah.
Ooh. No, I don't think so. I think it's too fast. I think the situation is, I think that she would continue to go for her blade than any sort of good luck charm. I think that would take, natural reaction is just going to be, I don't recognize immediately how best to defeat this. And so I'm going to go in with my sword and
Right.
see if I can.
When the dead don't stay dead, you have not deaded them hard enough. That
Yeah,
makes
exactly.
Dead them more.
Exactly.
More deadening, please.
More deadening.
sense. Take the undead and make them re-dead, please.
Re-dead.
All right. So if you're crossing and trying to help out Rumor here,
Yes.
that's going to put you in a desperate situation. She's currently in a desperate situation.
Yeah.
Now you're willingly throwing yourself into one.
Yes.
You're happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you're for, right? That's what
That's what I'm here for.
As a monster hunter.
Okay. So I think if you're crossing the distance, you're in a desperate situation. I
Okay.
think that with everything going on around you, it's going to be hard for you to line up the shot that is not going to, in some way, put Sakara at risk.
Okay.
I think that makes your situation here limited, but I will hear arguments to the contrary.
It's worth noting that mechanically, when you have limited effect, it means you probably want to achieve all that you're trying to achieve. So you might knock the hand, you might injure the arm or injure the hand, but not and loosen the grip, but not enough to let go of it completely. And someone, yourself or someone else, would have to take another action to like try and complete the task.
Okay.
So think of it this
one
way:
thing
you are giving Sakara an opening here to free herself if you succeed here.
Okay.
You're not going to kill this thing immediately.
Yeah.
You may give her an opening. That's what
Right.
effect here means. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
That makes total sense.
Okay.
So I'm going.
And you can push yourself if you want to increase your effect. If you're like, no, I really want to do this, I'm gonna spend 2 stress, and you can push that up to standard, or we could like discuss other things it could do that might be more effective.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'll push myself because I'm not going to leave someone in danger. So
I think this is a natural place also for me to be assisting because I'm trying to get away from this thing. So
yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm choosing, is skirmish the right thing to choose?
Skirmish could totally be could be right here.
Okay.
Skirmish, maneuver. Yeah, I think you could make an argument for hunt if you wanted to. You could be like, I'm lining up a perfect shot, and I'm gonna.
I'll even take wreck at this point. Like wreck
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna do.
feels perfect if you're just
Yeah.
using overwhelming force to try and get this thing to stop being undead.
Okay.
But
Well,
whatever you use here, we just talk about what position and effect is. I assume skirmish, yes.
Okay. Let me do wreck, desperate, limited, and I'm sorry. How many bonus
So
die?
you push yourself for
push
one.
myself.
Right? You push
Yes.
yourself for effect, though, right? So that
Oh.
makes it desperate standard,
Mhm.
and then you've got Sakara's bonus die as well.
Standard. 1.
Oh my goodness! I really did take all the sixes.
No, you're not dead yet. But I am starting a clock because this is where we're going to put a 4-part clock where the ceiling caves in completely, and I'm going to tick it 2 times.
Okay.
Nice.
So what happened here?
So here's where we're gonna do the thing. So again, Lenore, I hate to keep prompting you for beautiful word pictures, but what does this look like as we see Lenore kind of dancing between the falling rocks over towards Sakara, like sword out, and we're just going to town on this thing, or is this like a single, just overwhelming, over the shoulder, one big smash, trying to get a momentary respite here?
Yeah, I think Lenore did have to maneuver through some of the falling rocks, and misjudged one of the last ones because she was so focused on the strike that she stopped paying attention. She thought she had kind of clocked where all the rocks were coming from, and so I don't know if it's too much to say that one hits her, or at least like kind of just a move last second, and so she can't land her strike.
I was mostly asking so that I could see what kind of harm I was dishing out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think getting winged by a rock here totally makes sense.
Cool.
This is desperate, but the most of the problem here is that the cave-in is advancing. You're going to take level 2 harm. It's going to be like a wrenched shoulder, big deep bone bruise, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Hit by a rock is fine.
Hit by a rock.
So
Big rock.
so that is going to be -1d to anything that narratively would be impacted by having been hit by a big darn rock.
Okay.
And you can put it in like in the upper
rock.
left-hand corner of your character sheet, there's a harm area, and you can just type in there. There, yeah, perfect. You got it.
Hit by rock is what I wrote.
Nice. I love it.
As long as you remember why, then when you go to see your grace or your physician and get that scene too, that's fine.
Okay.
All right. So I think, and you can always say that you would like to resist that if you want to not be hit by the big rock, but that's going to be a resistance roll, and then we'll take stress away for that.
I think if it makes sense narratively, I would do it, but honestly, I don't think it makes sense for her. I think that everything we said, like she was focused, it makes sense that the rock would hit her. So I'm fine taking the harm.
Okay, cool. That's cool though, because I think that what it does do is because you're going for standard effect, we get the limited effect here.
Okay.
I think that this gives Sakara or somebody else maybe an opening to deal with this threat. So who is in motion right now?
Cool.
I do want to try using the lady's kiss.
You want to try using the lady's kiss? Excellent.
Yeah. So I
Right,
have,
it has one. Excellent.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yes. So I have an item. I think, is it up to me what it looks like? Because I just looked
Absolutely
it up.
it is.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I think what it looks like is, as I pull it out, it looks like a shroud, like it's pale and veil-like, and I throw it towards the corpse so that it'll land on their face to
Rad.
provide the lady's kiss.
Oh, that's so rad. I love it. All right. Okay. So as you're using this, what I think that there's probably an action roll in here. What do we think that action roll is going to be?
I think I have to run through every version of the prayer that brings about the lady's ire and vengeance. So I'm going to try to use channel, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. Our Witch of the Woods has a little bit of the grace about her. I think that totally makes sense. Go ahead.
And I think out in the wilds, we worshipped a darker version of the lady that no one has heard of here. So that's who I call upon. So let's see how it goes.
This is not the Lady of Ilrienne. This is
Yeah. Jamie, can I propose a possible detail?
Of course.
I think this thing is dead. I don't think the dead normally breathe. I think when it lands on their face, it like you see it pucker inward as they try to inhale, like the dead is suffocating as you even though they shouldn't be breathing because they've deceased. But I like the idea that the shroud would cause them to choke.
That's good. I like that.
If that sounds like a cool.
Absolutely, that's super cool. Could I ask for a lady's favor, just because I feel like we need every single die we can get.
We gotta get the lady in on this.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that the lady's favor here is that waiting outside is the other team that was dispatched to do this mission.
Oh yeah, we can have rivals. I like that. I'll accept it.
Okay, excellent.
Cool. So is this still desperate?
I think because we are standing under what is rapidly about to become a monumental deadly cave-in.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
But I think with
And then
the lady's kiss gives you standard effect against this thing.
cool. All right. And then one extra die. Okay, here we go. 2 sixes.
Nice.
God fucking damn it. Sorry. You've been rolling
That's so good.
badly.
So you get everything that you want. I think that we get a little bit extra too. I've got some ideas as to what kind of extra effect we want here, but I would love to hear from you, Jamie. Like what does extra effect look like here?
I think what happens is that the veil starts to cover their body completely and starts twisting them and turning them and like forcing them to fold in away from Sakura, if that makes sense.
So here's what I'm proposing, right? Because I'm right there with you. I think that's super cool. Are you basically making pocket proof of who was behind this?
Yeah, exactly. That sounds fantastic.
Okay. So I think that we are treated to this kind of ultimate CG shot, right? Where this thing that is like opening its mouth in like this horrible guttural, and like staring at Sakara and like trying to choke and crush the life out of her. This gossamer fabric sort of falls down over its face, rapidly spreads out. And you see like every line and curvature of its horrifying rictus just collapse in on itself, almost, you know, kind of Hellraiser style, like, bleh. But now you have this pocket evidence of malfeasance. And so it's obvious that this is not your fault, right? But that ceiling is making some unhealthy sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I sort of like, oh, go ahead.
No, go, please go on. I have a follow-up thing I'd like to do, but keep detailing that.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I trust Lenore to catch it. Like, I don't think this is the first time we've done this move where I throw the veil and then she catches it.
I love it.
And if I remember correctly, Rumor has a hold of the book, right? Like you grabbed the hold of the book, and that's right when like the hand reached out, grabbed your throat.
Yeah. So she's got the book. Lenore has the body. The ceiling is coming down. What are we doing? Time is a factor.
Yeah,
we're getting out of there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to. So I'd like to have a flashback to. I'd like to flashback to some time ago when I did meet Blair out here on a date, and he had a little. You said there's lots and lots of little tunnels, right? So the one that we're in, I don't think we can go back on. But there's a flashback to some time when there was all these like rose petals left, and I came out, and the Barrow Watcher was like there, but like looking the other way, and it was similar in lots of ways, except for not at all ominous, and
Right.
and I think I see like a crumpled rose petal from that time. Well, first off, tell me how much stress, if any, that this flashback costs. But I would just want another way out, another tunnel that I know, and I'd like to lead a group maneuver to get us to chase out. You know, as our way of that we came in collapses, and I'm like, I know another way, and you know, run into.
I'm going to go ahead and say I can give you limited effect for a 1 stress flashback. I can give you standard effect. Both of these desperate. No, risky. I don't think this is death on the line here.
I'm down with desperate.
No, I think that just taking to your heels is fine. But I'll give you standard effect one way or the other. We'll hash it out. If it's a 2 stress flashback.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, 2 stress flashback. Now, here's my question, because I think that we are heading this direction because it is the one that you know is not collapsing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you tried to go back the way you came, it would be desperate. But I think if you know this other way, it feels more risky.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Sound good? Okay.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
So everybody's probably going to need to roll maneuver here if you want to get out. Core has been nice enough to volunteer to lead.
Yep.
So risky, standard effect.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go ahead and push myself here. It feels like it's natural because she's probably already pushing herself just from if she was getting choked and like she had to grab the book, and so she's already in a position.
Are you saying that this has been stressful?
It's been stressful, so I'm just going to go ahead and push myself and take that stress.
Nice.
This baptism of fire. Yeah. I don't have a lot of stress left over, so I'll roll maneuver with 0 dice. Thank you, Core. I hope I roll well.
You got it. I think I'm gonna do this like a slightly different way. This is actually dumb, but I wanted. Oh no, it's not dumb. Okay, yeah, it's dumb, but I'm a showboat, and I want to be a showboat. So I'm only gonna spend 1 stress so that this is limited instead, and then I'm gonna use Unstoppable and say I'm gonna push myself for a feat of endurance that borders for feat. Oh, it's a feat of speed or endurance, not of strength. Never mind, I take it back. I really wanted to hold up I really wanted to like Conan for a moment, like the collapsing tunnel. But I think that's a different feat of prowess. So
it is.
yeah. So never mind. I'll just say
the hand is quicker than the eye. It does not deflect boulders.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, 0 dice, and y'all are rolling amazing.
I know.
Oh no, Hawk doesn't have 0 dice. You're just all rolling. Yeah.
Should I not have taken die cheat? Should I not have taken a bonus die for maneuver?
You should not have taken a bonus die,
Oh,
but I'm
I
happy
can
to
That's
read.
roll.
okay.
I'm
Because
happy
you
to
still
read
have a
that first
6.
die as the 6.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Take it.
Sorry, I wasn't.
It's all good.
No, it's okay.
My goal is
It's the
never to
first
cheat
time
with the
with the
dice.
system.
Okay, so it's.
But we
looking
take the highest die, thank God.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's looking like a 2 stress to lead that there core, but
Yep.
I think everybody gets out just in time to meet the leveled partisans of a contingent of Lovell main forcers. And stepping to their fore is Cypriota, their captain of the guard.
Oh, I had that book, that grimoire. It just vanished.
Nice.
Okay, I think Cypriota comes to the fore, and they're always masked. They're constantly behind the kind of peacock embroidered mask that always has hidden Cypriota. They are very kind of effeminately slim, but being completely masked head to toe and constantly in like these embroidered and filigreed gloves, it's unclear what gender, if any, they profess, right? But I think Cypriota comes to the fore and puts their hands on their hips and kind of imperiously like, and just what the hell was all of that?
Are they addressing any one of us in particular?
I think the 4 of you looking kind of haggard and woebegone and looking banged up and bruised and overall just sort of coming out of what is very much now a crumbling tunnel as kind of this little hummock of the Necropolitan Hill begins to kind of collapse in on itself like a flan in a cupboard. I think that it's the you at large, and all these partisans kind of have you in this ring of steel, and Cypriota is kind of turning their gaze from one to the other, just completely unimpressed by all of you. Did you not know that you were to wait on our arrival? We're your backup. You ignorant little... Who authorized
I would like to cut her off right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's like, you ignorant. I was like, that was a collapse, which would have happened before any of us could have gotten down there and stopped all those creatures from getting out if we had waited for you. So we're the ones who just saved the day, did the mission all by ourselves, and I'm sorry, took all the glory from you. Out of my face, Cipriana. We did the job.
Ow!
That's my back. Get the hell off of it.
Whoa!
Yeah, I'm coming out guns
just
blazing
playing.
because I'm just like super stressed from all this stuff. I got all this adrenaline racing through me, and I am just like not hearing any of her nonsense, or at least that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, she comes in here, or they come in here like they own the place. I mean, what are they, the first house in the city? And all of a sudden, out you come, all bedraggled and beaten up. And here they are basically holding the bag, having to clean up the mess, and
Yeah,
you're having none of it.
I'm having none of it.
I think that like the best part of Ilrian nobles wearing masks is that you can't necessarily immediately ascertain the reaction, right?
Right, I love it.
And I think it's just like sort of this blank, it's a full face peacock harlequin looking mask, right? And like it's got the impassive lips and the sculpted nose and just the holes in the eyes. Now, typically you can see, a little bit of eyelid all the way around. You can't see any eyelid. The eyes have just shot wide. I think that that right now the situation is getting like the partisans were kind of up at port, kind of all the way around you, just sort of up, and they just are slowly lowering and waiting on the command. What do you guys do?
Well, I would like to take that action, and I would like to represent that what I said as part of an action, because I But I fully intend to be like, if you don't look like a dumbass, you should just let us go, because obviously we just stopped everything bad from happening. And I'd like to sway and to be like, if you stop us, you're gonna look like the biggest fool,
Okay.
because
I
Yeah.
can
Can I
the
assist you?
mission.
I can see the fiction
Left
here
you
for
in.
sure. Like this is not just you mouthing off to a noble. This is you showing the noble why they're wrong, and that if they just shut up and stand down, this all goes away and everybody goes home happy, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'll assist. I'll take stress so you can get, because I do have sway, but I was also thinking I'm using a vulgar display of power. Like
Oh,
that same
nice.
emanation is coming from me because I just used the lady's kiss.
So you are radiating the do not fuck with the knack vibe right now.
Yes, yes. So I will take a stress so you get an extra die.
Thank you so much,
Mark off
because I only have one
power.
dot sway. Can I have a lady's blessing here?
Yeah, the lady's favor here for sure is that Cipriana is going to bear a grudge to you in particular.
Yes, that's exactly the lady's favor that I was looking for. Perfect. What's the position and effect on this sway roll?
I think this is risky because I mean mostly they want to upbraid you in front of all their guards right now, right? Like this is them making you look stupid. And I think that the thing that you win out of this is not necessarily your life, it's your, bragging rights, right?
Yeah.
I think that this is risky standard.
Cool. Risky standard. Here we go. No.
Oh.
Even with the extra die.
Whew.
Even with the extra
what
die.
Here's what happens. I think that
Love it.
they're willing to let bygones be bygones. They're willing to let you guys walk away. They won't say anything else, but they are going to seize the ladies' favor ball, or the ladies' kiss ball. They're going to take your proof, your corpse, and they're going to take custody of that. They're like, we were supposed to be here. This was our job. You were the B team. It's done. We have to show the prince. Or you can resist him.
I think any of us could resist it. I don't have a good. I feel like I sort of shot my, I sort of gave it all I got, and when they didn't back off, I'm not quite sure what to do. Does someone else
I think
want
that it's a good spot for me to step in and resist this one, because my special armor is also resisting a complication due to persuasion. That's one of the triggers for me.
Oh,
And
nice.
they're certainly trying to persuade us right now to hand it over.
Yeah.
It's gunpowder diplomacy. Yeah. So I'm gonna step in and basically, pull the. You're going to have to speak to. You're gonna have to speak to the lord of our house.
You're not my supervisor.
Yeah. That's what it comes down to, right? Like we this is not an option. We would be dereliction of duty on our part to just hand you this. So you can go through the proper channels here, and I'm gonna go ahead and take that roll. Spirit, mind, body, what are we doing here?
I think that with your special armor, you can mark that off, and then they're willing to let you pass with one of your objects if you want to keep the grimoire and the body.
Yeah, yes.
So go ahead and mark off your special. I think that this is a spirit because you're basically calling upon your insight to basically poke the right pressure points. I think that feels like spirit to me.
Yeah.
Stress. That's not too bad for one stress.
Yeah.
I
Taking
think
my Hellraiser body.
I need to hear what your overall thrust of the argument was. It that like your prince is going to be very upset if you don't come back with what you rightly earned?
I think that's exactly what it is. we are not in a position to just hand over evidence that we were sent to retrieve. There was no word to us that we were any kind of a B team. We were sent here to stop the problem. We stopped a problem. And at this point, this would be improper like seizure, and we would have to run it up the flagpole because they have no leg to stand on.
Yeah, this is a matter for the first court to sort out, right? And I think it's better because at this point, like the first sounds of like cantering horses are being heard in the background, and there's a flying V of dead watchers in dark black coats with their broad-brimmed hats, and behind them is a small contingent of Battaglia Chevaliers. I think that
Oh, the cavalry! Thank God, the cavalry. I think that's at about the point where like Rumor just kind of folds in on herself, like, don't let me talk to anybody more.
I think the partisans lift and like all traces of tension are gone, except for the way that I think the way that Cipriana is looking at you.
Yeah. How do you spell Cipriana? I'm just gonna add
CYP. CYPRIANA.
CYP. Sorry, say that one more time. I wasn't in the right field. I wasn't in the right place for it.
CYP.
CYP.
Charlie Yankee Papa. Romeo. RIANA.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. So Cipriana glares daggers at you, but I think they kind of take a step to the side and like follow you with their eyes as you kind of walk past. And I think that like they don't say words, but there's just kind of a low, like under their breath, just hardly anything, just enough to kind of like, oh no, that's probably a wound that's festering. But I think that this is the first thing that really gets Battaglia to see you people as not just occasional agents that they can lean on, but this is the first real win that you had. And I think that it's not long after that you guys are all kind of summoned to the villa where you'll meet your handler the next time we get together, get your dossiers, and decide how Ilrian moves forward from now. So, very well done, everybody.
Yay.
Do we want to do XP and everything on screen, or are we good to?
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, how are folks doing? We're well over time right now.
Yeah,
folks.
That's
Okay.
sorry, I apologize for that.
Ooh, yeah, I think I have to step away soon, but yeah.
Okay. No problem.
Good news. We can totally do XP and everything offline, and we can come back with character sheets, and then we'll hit it from there.
Sounds good.
Cool.
But that being
Awesome.
said, I hope everybody enjoyed that half as much as I did.
Yeah, it was great.
Good times.
Also awesome.
Well, let's sign off, and we'll let everybody go to bed, or in Jamie's case, just get your day started. I'm Sean. I use he him pronouns. You can find me everywhere at Sean Dittner. What am I don't know that I'm really up to anything right now. I'm excited to be starting the stream. I am I'm in the aftermath of the Thirsty Sword Lesbians Kickstarter that was super successful, and we're just working on stretch goals now. So that will be keeping me busy for some time. How about you, Navi? What are you up to?
So I'm Navi, and I use she, her pronouns, and you can find me at Navi Musing on Twitter. This is kind of what I'm up to. This has been our big project, Court of Blades. Just for the people who haven't been able to read the book and whatnot, what we did tonight isn't actually normally how you would run the game. You would normally jump right into your first season, but we decided since we were going to do all the character building on screen, we wanted to have like a little piece of the game to run just for people to have a little bit of fun, not just build. So we did something extra and kind of special, but by all means, anybody could adopt that exact thing to how'd you guys come together. And how about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, so I'm currently working on Apocalypse Keys, which is a PPTA game inspired by Hellboy and the BPRD, but with a lot more emotions. There's usually a lot more kissing involved of monsters holding back the apocalypse. And I'm working on a few other things. So you can find me on Twitter at Temporal Hiccup, and you can find me on Itch.io at Temporal Hiccup as well. Yeah, and I'm super excited to play. For anybody who noticed, yes, this character was deeply inspired by Morrigan from Dragon Age. So it was super fun. But yeah, and so how about you, Kristen?
Oh, this was such a great game. Thank you for letting me play Court of Blades for my first Blades in the Dark, Forged in the Dark type game. I love it so far. I have a lot of homework. I have a lot of studying to do about moves so I can be faster, but it's been great fun. So thank you. So hi, Kristen, she, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at Kristen is no Jedi. I'm a game designer, writer, podcaster. I help run a podcast network, but you can find all my website information, all my projects on Twitter. So just follow me there. Oh, and how about you, Sean?
So I'm Drake. I'm at Drake and Dice on Twitter. It's okay, you'll get it. I'm also Sean. That's my first name, but
That's why.
I'm Drake. I'm at Drake and Dice on Twitter. I helped Navi write this game. I love running it, and I look forward to running it for all of you guys again real soon. You can find other stuff that Navi and I work on at a couple of Drakes on Itch.io. And then I've got a blog called Drake and Dice where you can see my weird rambly grognard musings as well. So that's fun. But yeah, I look forward to getting all of you guys back around the table for more tales of kind of weird and arcane romantic skullduggery, gunpowder romance, gunpowder diplomacy, Renaissance magic, and all that good stuff. But yeah, back to you, Sean.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. This has been wonderful. Friends, stay home, stay safe, please, over this holiday. Actual play will be back on Friday for Burning Wheel. So check it out as Polara finishes her tale.